March is upon us, and the urgency of a season in the balance is ever present for the Mustangs and 49ers. It's Big West basketball next on ESPN.
Here we going to the top now. That we never ever stop.
We come to you from the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach. Cal Poly in dire need of a win to have a chance of the final tournament berth. Long Beach State, the second hottest team in the conference right now, aiming to improve their tournament seeding. And welcome everyone. Tim Beckrohr once again joined alongside by longtime NBA and NCAA assistant Dave Miller. And coach, high stakes for both these teams tonight. Cal Poly battling for that final tournament berth. Meanwhile, Long Beach comes in riding a hot hand with the tournament right around the corner.
Well, Tim, they're certainly peaking. They've won 3 in a row. They're the only team thus far to beat Irvine in conference play. Their defensive mindset has changed. Consistency has been the key.
And 2 explosive guards highlight our player matchup tonight, beginning with Donovan Fields.
Well, when you think about Donovan Fields, he's jet quick and he can score at all 3 levels. He's averaging 16.3 points per game. He's a blur in transition. He can finish through contact with either hand. On his baseline drives, he's looking to drop dimes on their baseline drifts. He's the engine that makes the Mustangs go. On the other side for Long Beach State, Jordan Roberts. He's what I call a super soft, and he oozes with potential. He's long, he's athletic. At 6'9", he can play 4 positions for the 49ers. Good hand slashes, and he thinks like a point guard. In his last 3 games, he's averaging 17 points per game. His future is bright. He's on a tear.
And tonight, a rematch of the overtime win for Long Beach State at Cal Poly back on February 9th. And let's look at the updated Big West standings, as UC Irvine earlier today was able to upend UC Riverside. So Long Beach State with a win tonight could possibly jump 3 spots to 5th. Cal Poly now just a half game behind UC Riverside for the final tournament spot. And right now, let's welcome in our 3rd member of tonight's broadcast team, Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, you mentioned it. It is almost tournament time, so let's talk about what's at stake. Right now, the table is set with Cal Poly and UC Riverside battling for that final spot, and UC Riverside is 1 game up. So you know tonight that Cal Poly is going to come in with a sense of urgency. And Coach Munson told his team because of what Cal Poly is fighting for, they're going to get their best shot. Then on the flip side, Long Beach State, they've won 3 in a row. They are riding that hot streak. They're trying to finish conference 500. And Coach Munson told us when it comes to tournament seeding, look, we've been there before where we won the regular season and then we've gotten bounced early in the tournament. So maybe one of these years we're going to do it differently, where we go in a lower seed but we come out victorious. And I got to tell you, the way Long Beach State is playing right now, they are a very hot team. They are very tenacious. I would not want to see them in the tournament. I don't think any other team in this conference does. Plus, guys, it's March. It's madness. Anything can happen. Tim.
Thank you, Courtney. We completely agree with you. Long Beach State, so dangerous. And, Coach, this is exactly the time of year you want to get that hot hand going.
Well, as a coach, you always want your team to be peaking at the right time, and you want to have momentum going into the tournament. There's 3 seasons, the preseason, the conference, and then the conference tournament. And if you can put together 3 wins, you can dance in March.
The Long Beach State tonight, as you notice, coming out of the gate here, as KJ Byers is not with the team, as he will not play in tonight's contest. And the Beach able to get something early from Mason Riggins, who has really stepped to the forefront in the low post.
Well, he's been able to step up with Youssef getting back from injury and not seeing a lot of time. He's been a huge factor offensively and defensively.
But there is Mark Crow to answer, as Crow had 12 points in that loss at Cal State Fullerton on Thursday, but he will have to come up big tonight if Cal Poly wants to have a chance in this one. And there is Deshaun Booker, who has been the catalyst for Long Beach State in conference play.
Well, one of the top point guards in the Big West, but defensively, you can't let him drive baseline. You've got to wall him off and wall it up and not give him those easy layup attempts.
Marcellus Garrick off a nice performance on Thursday, a bit too strong there.
Now, if you're Long Beach State, you want to really push the ball. You're going to put a lot of pressure on Poly getting back in defensive transition.
Roberts trying to take it coast to coast right there, but pretty good handles for such a based player.
But I tell you, with the emergence of Jordan Roberts, this team is clicking. In the last 3 games, he's averaging 17 points a game, but it's been defensively what I've liked he's doing. He's using his length and his athleticism. He's got to really defend on the other end and make an impact.
Roberts working inside and got the bounce.
Well, I like this craftiness of having patience defensively. It was good at first, but you can't give him an angle. You've got to absorb it on the chest, make him shoot over you. That's an easy bucket.
So that 16-point performance at Santa Barbara on Thursday. Sophomore out of Bakersfield. And here comes Drew Cobb, who is more of a defensive and energy specialist for Long Beach State. So right now, the kind of pace that Long Beach likes. They're going to try to push it here tonight. Throw out of the corner.
Well, Cal Poly, now they're an opportunistic running team. I mean, they're one of the slowest because they rely on the three, but you got to get out and score easy baskets like Long Beach State did right there.
And Drew Cobb, the transfer from Fresno City College. The Long Beach State, after a season ago in which they really struggled defensively, they have looked for more of a defensive presence, and they have gotten it. Roberts and with Cobb. That one knocked away by Crow.
Well, that's where I've seen this team get better defensively. They're just a little bit more active. With Bobby Braswell joining the staff, they want to deny, they want to pressure, they want to be disruptive on the ball, and that creates the easy offense that we saw there in transition.
So Roberts goes out of the ball game. And coming on, Demetrius Mims for Long Beach State. And Mims, the 6'6" freshman from Baltimore.
Well, he was the state player of the year in Maryland, the 3A level. He's one of the toughest kids on this team. He's maybe their best athlete.
Mustangs trying to find some kind of offense early. Rejected there. Mims makes an immediate impact on defense.
Great defense by the freshman, because you know Alexander isn't a shooter. He's going to bring it to you. That was a great defensive play on the other end.
Booker with a drop step baseline.
But that's just way too easy. We did 2 possessions ago. Same thing with the baseline drive. He's going to go for a career high tonight if you don't give him some resistance on the other end.
Deshaun Booker in his 2nd year at Long Beach State after transferring from the College of Southern Idaho.
See, right here, you just got to stay in front. Alexander wants to drive and penetrate. He's not going to pull up and shoot it.
They will get Booker here for the foul. But the Beach out early, just the kind of pace they want to see if they want to make it 4 wins in a row.
Welcome to golf heaven, where even your worst shot can become your best shot. Sport! After your perfect round, you're going to need your perfect meal. Here at O'Neill's, we're not only famous for our food, we're also famous for our service. Or get married. Or not. Anything's possible at a Roy Chubuco Golf Club. You got to see it to believe it.
At Cal Poly, we believe that true learning happens when knowledge goes to work. For more than a century, we've been driven by the philosophy of learn by doing. From the first day on campus, every student at Cal Poly has a chance to practice what students at other schools only read about. And that means that graduates begin their careers already equipped with the tools they'll need to start changing the world from day one. Cal Poly, experience the power of learn by doing.
'49ers on their home floor out of the gate early in this one. The early 8-point advantage as As we rejoin you here at the Walter Pyramid, as Long Beach State trying to make it 4 wins in a row. All right, Coach, time for those keys to the game.
Well, I'd like to say for Cal Poly, they need Pink Floyd defense. They've got to get back and keep putting bricks in the wall and seal up the paint. Booker already has 2 layups. And then just get back, Jack. They got to get back and get turned and limit the 49ers fast break point. For Long Beach State, it's simple. Run, Forrest, run. The 49ers have to push it. Cal Poly likes to shoot threes. That means long rebounds, get it and go, and then paint in the lane. I want to see the 49ers score 45 points tonight in the lane, whether it's by post feeds or drives by the guards. They've got to attack.
So Long Beach State getting to the rim with regularity so far. Inside, Cal Poly looking for easy points, and they get them from Tuka Yakola.
Well, I like the catch by Tuka, but he brought the ball down low. He's got to catch it high, keep it high. Don't bring it down and let somebody get a hand on it. Good recognition, good feed.
So Cal Poly 2 of 7 shooting the basketball in the early going. Long Beach State 5 for 8 from the floor, and inside wheeling right there is Temadayo Youssef coming off the bench in this game. The redshirt senior out of Oakland will go to the foul line.
Well, Tim, here's the problem if you're Cal Poly. They've got to defend without fouling, and you say, okay, so that's just a foul. You look at it, but Joe Calero looks at it like, oh my gosh, you were at the game on Thursday night versus Fullerton. The Titans set a school record in free throw attempts. That's why we seen Calero go to a 2-3 zone at times, just sort of to buy some time, but you can't foul because this one might not look big, but as soon as they get into the bonus or they're shooting 2, it really has hurt Cal Poly all season long.
So Youssef played sparingly on Thursday up at UC Santa Barbara.
Well, Tim, he may be the best low-post presence in the Big West. He's just really struggled this year, but he's big, he's strong, he's physical. He's like a bull in the China shop. It'd be nice to see him have that presence and help me get those 45 points I predicted.
He just played 11 minutes on Thursday at UC Santa Barbara. He has battled some knee soreness this year as well, as Fields cannot connect.
Okay, so if you're Cal Poly, get turned, build a wall, and keep them out of the paint.
So Booker very aggressive with the basketball tonight to set the tone.
Yeah, you see my point. Booker's coming at you. First of all, you should pick him up a little higher, not let him get ahead of steam, but you got to turn him. You can't let him get into the lane. Poly's just been lucky with misses and end line out of bounds.
That one barely came off for Roberts.
Nice rebound by Crow, a 6'5" sophomore that Joe says is a really athletic wing and can really shoot it.
Alexander lost his footing but maintains possession but throws it away.
Again, transition points are going to be key for the 49ers tonight. And what do? They foul. You've got to defend without fouling.
So Mark Crow with his first personal. 2 team fouls now against Cal Poly. And just 1 so far for Long Beach State.
Nice ISO for Roberts.
Nice step through, but a little bit off balance. And it's going to go the other way.
Really good execution by Munson's team to be able to get that ISO. 2 defenders came. You just can't let them split you. Again, back to Pink Floyd defense right there. Build a wall. Make them shoot over top of you. Don't give them the angle game.
Mims with the foul for Long Beach there.
I just said, as a freshman, Tim, so much promise out there. I mean, I've watched him practice. Like I said, he was the most athletic guy at the practice I was at a couple weeks ago, but his future is extremely bright.
When the 49ers want to defend, they are a very dangerous team. As Fields inside with a left-hand move.
Just as you say that, they give a middle drive. So Munson and Braswell can't be happy with that. You got to pin them to the sideline. But the winning streak they have of 3 has really been propelled by their defense. They've been more consistent keeping players in front.
Youssef, a little bit of ISO there left side of the lane, but too strong on that one.
And it sort of looks slow motion to me. You know, as crazy as that sounds, I just don't see that explosiveness right now. And again, that could be injury lingering or maybe not being in shape. But that wasn't the explosive move that I've seen him during his stay.
contact in the lane right there and a foul coming up. And for more, let's rejoin Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, you talk about that 3-game win streak, and Coach, I totally agree with you. More attention to defense has been one of the keys. Today in shoot-around, I saw Coach Braswell really working on the defense with the team. But I asked maybe what were the other things, and they said, you know, winning breeds confidence. Before their 3-game win streak, the Beach was 4-6 in games decided by 5 points or less, and now they're 7-6 in that same category. So they've been able to pull out some close games because they've learned how to win. And guys, let's not forget, being healthy probably helps too in this win streak.
Absolutely. And for Cal Poly, they have started to pick up things offensively here. But yeah, going back to Long Beach State, and you know, the addition of Bobby Braswell to the coaching staff,
well, that helped.
Has helped turn things around big time for them this season on the defensive end. And Alberts, the Gonzaga transfer, will earn a trip to the foul line with an and one.
Yeah, silly foul by Garrick. You know, you're behind him. He's not you got to know your personnel. He doesn't take his shot backwards. I mean, when you look at Alberts, what is he? He's a jump shooter, and he's a pretty good one. So why foul him from the back and give him a chance? You know, and again, it sticks with the theme. We continue to see fouls, whether they're, you know, with the shooter, and you know that's a cardinal rule, never foul a shooter. But again, you got to defend without fouling. You got to stick to your defensive discipline. Well, I like Cobb. Look at that body, Tim. He's got an NFL body. He just looks like a warrior. He's a walk-on from Fresno City College. I just like the toughness and the grit he brings to this team defensively.
Garrick from the corner. Coach, if Cal Poly wants to have any kind of chance in this game tonight, they've got to hit their shots from the outside, and so far they are not falling.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. When Cal Poly wins, they average 13 made three-pointers a game. In their losses, they're making 5.7. And when you're Fullerton, you better have an awareness of Fields and Nijo and Crow and Carr and Garrick. You got to get to them and make them put it on the floor. Don't let them get hot. Ask Hawaii. They hit 14 three balls versus Hawaii the other day.
Booker tipped up and in on the follow by Riggins, the senior out of White Wright, Texas.
Where he's just a physical load in the paint, so much improved. He's got to be a paint presence for this team, especially with Youssef out.
And there is Garrick connecting for Cal Poly.
Well, he's a rhythm shooter now. You can't let him get into a rhythm. He gets his feet set, it's probably going in.
11th in the Big West Conference in threes made now with 50 on the year. Alberts will try his hand at it. And coming up with that rebound, as that was Daxton Carr, the freshman out of Pocatello, Idaho for Cal Poly. Jared Rice into the lane, one-on-one with Booker. Had the shot rejected, but a foul. And we will have free throws most likely coming up when we return. Long Beach got the early jump. Cal Poly trying to work their way back into it.
Welcome to golf heaven, where even your worst shot can become your best shot. After your perfect round, you're going to need your perfect meal. Here at O'Neill's, we're not only famous for our food, we're also famous for our service. Or get married, or not. Anything's possible at a Roy Chibuco Golf Club. You got to see it to believe it.
At Cal Poly, we believe that true learning happens when knowledge goes to work. For more than a century, we've been driven by the philosophy of learn by doing. From the first day on campus, every student at Cal Poly has a chance to practice what students at other schools only read about. And that means that graduates begin their careers already equipped with the tools they'll need to start changing the world from day one. Cal Poly, experience the power of learn by doing.
Amtrak Pacific Surfliner, and embrace the journey to Southern California's top destinations. Cruise by sparkling beaches and rolling hills as you travel to renowned wine countries, beloved surf cities, and vibrant downtowns. Let us take you to SoCal's most inviting and inspired communities. Plan your next trip at PacificSurfliner.com and come hug the coast with us.
Welcome to golf.
Cal Poly back in it after falling behind early as the Mustangs try to keep their Big West Tournament hopes alive if they can get a victory here tonight. And Coach, when you talk about this season for Joe Calero and his squad, you know, you look at how they have played so far this year, that record could be a lot better than it is currently.
Well, when you look at 6-20, you think, oh my, but take this into consideration. They've lost 2 games in overtime this season at Long Beach State. And with the exception of UCI, they've been tied or ahead in the second half of all their games. There's been no quit, no head hanging. Joe Calero coached with me at USC. He was part of a great coaching staff. He's really an outstanding role model for these kids, a top-notch coach, a grinder in recruiting. He's one of 16 siblings. So what does that tell you? He knows about relationships and dealing with people. And if there's food on the table, he's going to grab first, because some nights he went hungry back home growing up.
That's right. So Calero leading Cal Poly to the Big West Tournament title, their first ever Division I NCAA tournament berth back in 2014 with that great run at the Honda Center.
So now, right now, you see a little break from the man-to-man. They're in a 2-3 zone right here, just giving a different look, buying some time, trying to keep the ball out of the paint.
The Mustangs started off 1 for 6 from the floor in this game. They're now 5 for 12, so they're heating up just a bit. Alberts from 3.
Well, I like that Carr was there, but you have to remember with Alberts, he's a shooter, and I love his size. He's been hot lately. He's got deep 3-ball range. He's averaging 10.8 points per game. He's shooting 39% from 3.
And for more on Long Beach, let's rejoin Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, in that last huddle, Coach Munson told his team, you know, he was pretty happy with how they were doing offensively, but defensively, he said we've got to be sharper on the defensive end. He wants them to keep the ball in front and contain the ball off the bounce, because it's leading to Poly getting shot. So watch for them to really keep the ball in front of them. At least they're following what Coach Munson and Braswell said.
Well, that's absolutely right, and I saw the deflection right there, so they're trying to do a better job, but Courtney Sweet on target, on time.
Yes.
Keep the offensive player in front.
Throw right there, yep.
You see him, Tim? He didn't square him up, didn't wall him up, and it was a direct line drive, and they got lucky.
Alberts in rhythm, not this time. As Cobb tried to keep it alive, and they'll say it was last touch by Cal Poly.
And that's where Crow, when a shot goes up, you better find Cobb. I talked about his warrior attitude. He just does all the little things. He makes winning plays. That's a guy, when you watch him practice, he smells blood. You know, he's just competitive, and that's a contagious thing in a good way.
Adon Majuni now in for the Beach, replacing Alberts, and Roberts with a one-on-one matchup there with Carr. That's where the foul will go, as Carr picks up his second.
Well, we talk about Long Beach State keeping players in front. That was a good job by Carr to keep him, but he side-saddled him, and then there's just too much contact right there. He's got to beat him to the spot and make Roberts, dribble to the sideline, not to the rim.
So Roberts, his 15th start on the season. And again, that perimeter defense has improved for Long Beach State this year, and he's a big part of that, along with Cobb, just because of his length out there to get into the passing lane.
You're spot on, partner. It's about the length. It's about their athleticism. They're doing a better job bothering on entry passes. We saw the deflection. Now, offensively, I want to see the 49ers push the ball. This is a low bench right here for Poly, okay? Long Beach State is top 20 in terms of pace. They cut hard. They got to push, get points in the paint.
So again, an 8-point deficit. This matches the biggest lead for Long Beach State. The biggest deficit for Cal Poly in this game is that one hooked away by Crow.
We're seeing a lot of activity now with deflections, but that last possession for Long Beach State, he just drove down the lane. It was like the Red Sea. Defenders just split, and again, both these teams have been lucky with these misses. They've got to really tighten up their defense and again, play like there's a wall in front of them. That has not been the case thus far for either team.
Nice feed from Roberts inside of Riggins to throw it down.
Great job with spacing, executing, getting the ball to the open spot, thus the easy finish.
A versatile game that Jordan Roberts brings to the table for Long Beach State. Fields doing a little bit too much right there. Cobb with a 2-on-2. Majuni. Carr ahead of the field, and Roberts back there playing defensive back. Knocked it away.
Interesting with the versatility. We talked about the athleticism and the length for Long Beach State. Watching Cobb and Roberts defensively switch, that is such a luxury when you have that type of athleticism, and it's just a tough cover.
So the biggest lead of the night for Long Beach State, and a timeout taken by Cal Poly and Joe Calero as they try to stem the tide put forth by Long Beach State right now.
Well, right here you see the nice little pass. Two come with Riggins with the beautiful dive. Now listen, when you're talking about Poly offense, what Poly wants to do offensively, they want to have dribble drive motion. They want to get the ball downhill. That's what creates their threes on the pitchbacks. They want to penetrate and kick. The one wrinkle I've seen is that when they feed the post, they want to dive cutters. But right now with Garoza's not in right now. Now he's playing with the torn meniscus. He's only 80%. So again, they wanted to try and get him going tonight, see if he could get loose. He suffered back spasms from the other night at Fullerton. So right now they don't have that cutter. I'm going to be interested to see if Hollingsworth can be a pit bull in the paint for Calero and his Mustangs.
He will have to be. Hollingsworth averaging almost 5 points a game, almost 5 rebounds a game, and a block shot per contest. It's Carr from the outside with Roberts flying out on him.
He's going to have to grab that ball with 2 hands. That should have been an offensive rebound for Hank.
Second chance now for the Mustangs on this side of the floor.
Long Beach State now in his zone defense, giving Pauly a different look.
And Chrome has timed his jump right there off the miss.
Richard got lucky with that rebound. You got to block out when a shot goes up.
And back up the Mustangs after forcing the steal. They've got numbers. And Fields able to power his way inside and draw contact, and that's where the foul will go, and it looks to be against Raymond Richard.
Well, truth be told, we talked about having Fields be able to score at all 3 levels. We know he can pull deep. He's got the mid-range, but it's the push game that I like. And you see how he absorbs contact? I mean, they list him at 5'10". I'm thinking he's about 5'8", 5'9 and a half, but he's got a heart as big as the Pacific Ocean. And again, I just think it's so advantageous offensively to get him to put pressure on the defense. And he's good enough that he doesn't have it. He likes to jump stop, and he's got a strong pivot, Tim, so he's able to pitch back. Now you hit your shooters. Thus versus Hawaii, that's how you get 14 threes. You know, Hawaii just didn't stop guarding him and lay down. It's with penetration and then the kickouts and making an extra pass. So let's see a push. If you got the layup, good. If not, kick out to your shooters.
So Fields able to stem the tide for the moment, but still a bit of a mountain to climb for Cal Poly to get back in it.
Well, the separation has been defense by Long Beach State.
Booker the pull-up over the smaller defender Fields.
Well, he's just so versatile. What a tough cover with his length. He's so crafty. He's got a chance to be really good. At the beginning of the year, I thought he needed to become better defensively to become a complete player, and I've seen right now tonight so far, he's made strides to do that. One of the top guards in the conference, no question.
And Garrick across the lane. Somehow got it back inside, and will it be a tie-up situation? It may. So it's going to be a foul, and it will be Mustang basketball when we return for the Pyramid. Long Beach State trying to make it 4 wins in a row, and a great formula for every coach is if you get better as the season goes along. But you look at their non-conference schedule that they play every single season, Coach, and well, that teaches them a lot of lessons and a big reason why they become so hot heading into March.
Well, as a coach, we always say it's going to pay dividends, and Munson will play anybody, anywhere. And year in and year out, he always schedules a tough non-conference slate to get his guys battle-tested. He prepares guys, and it also helps in recruiting. Listen, you go to Pauley Pavilion, Booker had a career high at Pauley Pavilion. They lose at UCLA. They lose at Arizona State. They lose to Mississippi State, who was top 15 at the time. They lose at home to Oregon State. They get beat by USC at the Galen Center, and they lose at Stanford. That prepares you for Big West and going into the tournament.
Garrick a little short there. Looking at the shooting percentages so far, Long Beach State 10 of 22. Cal Poly 5 of 19. From the field.
Mustangs back to man-to-man defense. One-on-one in the post.
As Yusuf powers his way against the freshman Yakola.
Well, Tuca's got to understand that you have to play defense before Timmy Yusuf receives the ball. Right there, you're just a dollar short and a day late. Yusuf started to make the move to the baseline. You've got to move your feet and feed him to the spot, but more to the point, you can't let him catch it there. And what do I mean by play defense before he gets the ball? You've got to root him out. Now, that may be tough, okay, because Tuca doesn't look like he's 240, and we know Timmy's a pit bull. But again, that's how you defend post players.
So Yusuf, all Big West selection the last 2 years. Probably on his way to a 3rd straight All Big West honor here this season.
Tim, he's like a poor man's Elton Brand. He gets buckets on the block. He's got good hands. He can face you up. He rebounds, and he gets double-doubles when he's healthy.
Crow will try it again from long distance. 1 for 7 from outside the arc for Cal Poly, and Crow a second opportunity. And a nice feed there from Garoza as Crow will go back to the foul line.
Well, we're speaking about Garoza, and we mentioned that right now he's playing at 80% with that meniscus there, but he's really been a bully on the block for Joe all year long. And when you think of Crow, I told you how athletic he was. He's their best three-pointer, so you've got to have an awareness. He loves to get to the corners, and he's just got impeccable footwork. That's what sets up his 3-ball. His feet are set, his palms are to the passer, and they put it on time, on target.
Dallas, Texas, as he's able to bring the Mustangs back within 11. And let's return to Courtney Sweet, who has an update for the Cal Poly huddle.
Well, guys, in that last huddle, Coach Calero spent most of his time on the whiteboard. And Coach Miller, he was talking exactly what you were saying earlier. He wants them to get more catches in the post so that they can get their inside-out game going. Right now, the Mustangs are 1 of 7 from 3, and that's one of the things that they rely on. So, Coach Miller, were you over in that huddle with me? What's going on? I feel like you've done this before, coaching.
Well, Joe and I, we've won a lot of games together in the Pac-10. And like I said, he's a great coach. I learned a lot from him during my days as fellow assistants.
He really is, and I got to tell you, when he's on that whiteboard, I have no idea what he's doing, but it surely looks smart.
Well, you're safe, Courtney, because put a mic in his hand and he'd have no idea what you do.
Well, guys, I've actually run out of eligibility anyway, so it's a moot point.
You know, Courtney knows basketball. Now, her father, he was a heck of a basketball
Yes, he was.
Because she impressed me. I'm like, how do you know all this about basketball? She said, Coach, I learned from the best coach.
Right.
I thought she was going to say me. She said, nope, my daddy.
Always doing a phenomenal job along the sidelines for us, Courtney Sweet. As Long Beach State here with that 8-point lead. Again, the Mustangs trying to figure their way back in this one, but Coach, it just comes down to shooting the basketball so far for Cal Poly, just not putting it down. They've had open looks.
Listen, I don't want to spoil the movie. You ever have a friend like that? I'm just going to tell you, if they're not hitting threes, they're going to really struggle to beat this team. They haven't been able, as Courtney reported, to get their post game going. Maybe they do, but that's the unknown, the unforeseen. I just know that if they hit threes, they can beat anybody in this league. They scored 75 points at Fullerton and were 2 for 13 from the long ball. That tells you they can score, but I'm betting on threes to win.
No foul called right there as Garoza had position. Booker thought he should have gotten the call, and it's a traveling violation against Booker and Long Beach State. So DeRosa just stepping up the lane there, put up the wall.
Well, he might have been listening to Pink Floyd when he was warming up.
Right. Three in the lane here.
Well, that's what hurts you, because I told you the scouting report on Job Alexander. He's not pulling up and shooting it. He's going to bring it to you. So when you see him go on the dribble drive, you've got to pull out. Now, that's twofold. One, to avoid the 3-second call, but the other, if your man comes, now he can drop it off to you. So it really helps you in all aspects. Man-to-man D by Cal Poly. That's downhill, easy call.
Booker with 6 points tonight, almost had 8, but came up short.
How'd he miss that, Tim?
I'll tell you, right there at the rim,
Yeah, I mean,
switch from right hand to left hand at the last second, and it called.
But he's skilled enough. I mean, that's the point. When you get downhill, you got to dunk it. I always say, dunk it or use the glass. And he sort of finger rolled that one in softly, not that he saw, but hey, go up and just dunk it like the rim stole your lunch money.
Well, Booker, we've seen him come up with some huge performances this year. You talked about that UCLA game, also against UC Davis earlier this season here at the Pyramid. A big, big evening.
But Tim, he impressed me a year ago when we had his games. I mean, he had back-to-back games where he had 11 assists, and that's when I thought, man, at 6'3", with his size, he could become a premier point guard in this league. I mean, he was the first player to ever have back-to-back 11 assist games since Ed Ratliff did it, and he's a Long Beach great.
Yes. And when we talked with Dan Munson earlier this season, he said, you know, we finally meshed together as coach and player this season. And that has made all the difference in the world.
Well, that was the key, because it's simple. Sit down, stay in your stance, pressure the ball, give multiple efforts, because you're really good offensively. It was the defensive end that made him complete.
The Mustangs again looking to make another spurt here. Garrick, athletic off the window.
He really has a knack for getting downhill and being able to go away from the board and get it over the defense.
Marcellus Garrick makes it a 4-point game. Long Beach had a 12-point lead, but the Mustangs have come back with a run of their own and continue to hang around. And hey, frankly, Coach, this is a must-win for Cal Poly. They have to go home next week and play, well, 13-1 in conference, UC Irvine, and then follow it up with their arch rivals, UC Santa Barbara, who has a stacked roster this year as well.
That's what makes the regular season important in this league, because the last place team, it's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You don't get to play in any reindeer games, and that would be the Big West tournament. And on the same token, it's not so much a must-win, because usually that means you're eliminated, like Cal Poly could be eliminated. This is a must-win right now. There's momentum flowing with Long Beach State. They're defending. They're pushing the ball. They have a 3-game win streak. Their final 2 games are here at home. They have a chance to go 5-0 before they enter the Big West tournament.
So 4 schools already with their spots taken, and they're basically their tickets stamped to the Honda Center coming up in less than 2 weeks. We're 13 days away. Make that actually, no, Coach, 12 days away.
2-3 zone right here by Cal Poly. Look to penetrate, get the ball into the middle. Tough to dribble through.
There's Cobb.
Cobb took a inadvertent hit, man, right to the nose, and he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going.
One-on-one, Fields against Cobb. Nice job by Cobb, though, to stay with the play and to stay with Fields.
I mean, did you hear? I heard the slap. I've got a headset on, and I heard him get smacked in the face again, inadvertently. That's a tough kid.
Yeah, Cobb, he looks like an NFL free safety out there on the floor.
Yeah, from Sacramento, California, went to Fresno City College. He was a qualifier out of high school. So he was able to come here. He's got eligibility. The more I watch him play, to me, he's just an ultimate glue guy. He's an ultimate teammate. When you get smacked across the face and you get back down on the other end and make a play, that tells you something about the toughness that he possesses. Hey, listen, he's 19 years old. He looks like he's about 23, and he's lived in a weight room. Wow.
So the foul was on Hollingsworth for Cal Poly, as Riggins will get another opportunity at the foul line here.
Well, Riggins does so much for this team. He's second on the team in block shots. He's third on the team in rebounding, and he's shooting 62% from the field. I mean, give it to him. You might as well tell the scoreboard guy over there, just click the button for 2.
He's led the 49ers in field goal percentage the last 2 seasons.
So there's just not a presence inside to get the basketball in right now for Cal Poly.
Crow traveling with the basketball there. You're right. It's just almost too easy to defend.
Yeah, because you got 4 guys out on the perimeter and you got Hollingsworth down there, and there's really not action to get it through. You know, get into maybe some ball screen action. I haven't seen them do this a lot, and they're very good. Baseline drive, baseline drift. We talked about it in the open.
Booker with a couple of left fakes there, but a bit too soft with that left hand. Garrick will fire from long range.
Stop the ball.
And Fields trying to step up the lane there and stop that dribble penetration, picks up the foul.
But see, here's the problem. That's a freight train coming at you. I mean, you're on an island by yourself, and I'm glad that Fields wanted to stop him, but you got to pick him up at half court, and you've got to turn him. You've got to slow him down. Guys are too good in the Big West Conference to give them a head of steam and think you're going to stop them.
So Booker at the foul line, leading the nation coming into the game. 222 made free throws. And at the top of the Big West single season record books.
Well, in Big West play, he's averaging 22.9. You mentioned he leads the nation with those made free throws, but he's shooting over 90% from the charity stripe. In his last 8 games, Booker has made 74 of 76 free throws coming into this game. That's 97%. And the streak was 30 in a row.
Wow.
Hope I didn't jinx him.
Second try here. Nope, you didn't. Good job, Coach. So an 8-point game again. And another sequence where Cal Poly desperately needs to find some offense.
Well, on the other end, they've got to play defense, and they've got to curtail the points in the paint.
And Fields with a little step back off that shake.
You think? You caught me off guard on that one. I mean, I was going to go ball on the string. I just like the change of pace. Little herky-jerky big-time shot.
Jordan Roberts defended it well. Even the length didn't matter right there.
Forget Jordan Roberts. Where did you get that flavor all of a sudden?
Learned it from you, Coach. Albert's able to knock it down. Fields again. And it looks like Donovan Fields is just going to take this game over for Cal Poly on offense.
Well, with Donovan Fields, he's got the shake, he's got the boogie. Long Beach State has to keep him out of the paint before he gets hot.
Yeah, we going to the top now. Top now. That we never ever stop now. Stop now. Yeah, we going to the top now. Top now. Top now. Yes, sir.
Long Beach State has led throughout this one. An 8-point 49ers lead as they look to make it 4 wins in a row. As the 49ers faithful, there, well, Drew Cobb, a lot to be proud of right there. Drew Cobb having a nice game so far defensively.
Well, he certainly is. I mean, he's been patrolling the paint defensively. But right now, Long Beach State, the reason that they've been able to keep the lead, points in the paint. The 49ers, 18 points in the paint. Cal Poly is going to, and it was the key of the game. They've got to get back, and it hasn't been really many post feeds, as Courtney Sweet reported. They need to have more direct post feeds, but it's been Fields in particularly getting downhill, getting into the paint. They've got to correct that in this last 3 minutes and 16 seconds, because I know that will be a halftime adjustment for Joe.
Well, a win here for Long Beach State tonight could boost them and help them jump all the way to 5th in the Big West standings, because, well, CSUN is on the road tonight in Honolulu to take on Hawaii. Always a tough place to play at the Stan Sheriff Center. And UC Davis, well, they're hosting Cal State Fullerton, and Fullerton playing very good basketball right now.
Any given night, anybody can win in this league. And again, if you want to get a better seed, then you've got to win. Don't worry about woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Let's send it back to Courtney Sweet with an update for the Long Beach State huddle.
Well, guys, in that huddle, Coach Munson told his team that Cal Poly is hurting them on the lay-ins and the free throws. Right now, Cal Poly is 7 of 8 from the line, and he told his team, you've got to keep an eye on Fields. He wasn't upset about the defense. He said he is a pull-up shooter, but you still have to keep an eye on him because he can be a problem. Then he looked at his team. He said, it's our 3 minutes. We need to be up double digits at the half, but do it without fouling. Guys?
Yeah, well, Courtney, the key with Fields, you got to locate him in transition. You got to corral him. Then you've got to sit on his right hand. And you got to stay in that stance. Keep him in front. They're not doing it. Wall him up on penetration. Make him shoot over you. Like I said, he's 5'9" tops.
So the lead back to 9 as Crow comes up empty, but Garrick, a nice job to track it down.
Did you see the penetration by Fields? That's what set up the shot by Garrick. Unfortunate miss.
And it's headed the other way. Garrick pressured by Alberts and Cobb, and he turns it over.
That's the action, though. We're talking about Cal Poly down there. Penetrate, kick out the shooters, and then you've just got to rise up and knock them down.
So Garrick was pleading his case with the officiating crew and will not win that argument.
You know what I say? Next play. You're not going to change the Eagles.
So Majuni now when they're running the offense for Long Beach State.
Man-to-man defense. No downhill drives.
Alberts trying to get a clean look, and over Fields he connects.
I think I said it earlier, 39%. He's shooting from the long ball. You've got to get over, and you've got to level him off.
Well, Long Beach State attacking Donovan Fields tonight.
Yeah, I mean, another way, I told Courtney a bunch of ways to guard him. The other way is to attack him, get him into foul trouble. Make him exert energy defending.
So Booker picking up the foul here. And free throws for Cal Poly. Again, a double-digit lead for Long Beach State. Their biggest lead tonight has been 12. So the 49ers, their schedule, and they wind down the conference season as Wednesday will be their final regular season game here at the Pyramid against UC Riverside.
Well, they certainly have some seniors that they're going to be able to recognize. Deshaun Booker, Alberts is a senior, Mason Riggins, Temadiah Youssef. That's going to be a special night. This is a group, you know, again, Munson's never told me this, but just being around the few times I have, I think he really enjoys this group. I think they've stayed together. You know, they've won, they've lost, they're on a 3-game win streak, but I think this is a team that's connected and they enjoy the coaches and vice versa.
A lot of veterans on this club, and inside, great two-man game there, Alberts and Youssef.
That's what I'm talking about, the downhill drive. And again, 2 more points in the paint. He gets going, the help comes, dishes it off to Youssef. Easy finish inside. Notice how Booker came off him and sat in Hollingsworth's lap. A non-shooter, you can help inside.
But Crow this time taking Roberts off the dribble. So Crow doing all he can to keep Cal Poly in. And Booker traveled with the basketball. One too many steps right there.
Yeah, I mean, Crow being their best three-point shooter, I love watching him. He sprints hard in transition. You know he's got that three ball. Sometimes he may settle, but when he puts it on the floor, that adds another dimension because now he's looking to get somebody else. The other thing he does well on the perimeter, watch him. He loves the shot fake. Crow's got a great shot fake. He sells it, and that's what sets up his drives.
So Riggins back in there. In the middle for Long Beach State as Yusuf will get a breather. And Richard back in there to man the point guard spot for Majuni for the time being. For Long Beach State.
Horn set right here, and they're going to double away to get Garrick a jumper.
Too much of a fadeaway right there.
Yeah, these plays look familiar. I think I know Calero's playbook.
Fields comes up empty. So a poor shooting half for Cal Poly. And the Mustangs with a 9-point deficit as we're now under 40 seconds to play in this first half.
Well, that's a good sign because they really haven't been able to hit shots. So you're down 9, get a stop right here. Maybe you cut it to 7.
And they do get the stop. And the shot clock now turned off, and now the Mustangs can work the clock for the final shot of this first half. Fields, the creator, outside against a very tough defender in Cobb. Rosa rejected. Still time. And he traveled with the basketball. Fields saw Roberts flying out on him. That changed his mind, but he turned the basketball back to Long Beach State with a second and a half to go. The 49ers have to go about, we're probably talking about 65 feet here.
Okay, so here's the key for Cal Poly. Don't foul. You don't want to give him a shot. Contest it, but don't foul.
So Majuni will trigger in. And looking for Booker down the middle, but stolen by Garrick, and that's going to do it for the first half. So Long Beach State got off to an early 10-2 lead, and they have not looked back in this first half. Cal Poly a couple times closing the gap to within 4 or 3 points, but every time Long Beach State had that answer, Coach.
Well, it's been defense for Long Beach State, but listen, when you're Cal Poly and you're shooting 29% from the field, you're not going to win on the road. They've got to get their three-ball game going. Get the basketball inside, get a post guy to have a presence, and then, like I said, if you want to win, the three ball is going to have to heat up for the Mustangs.
And let's rejoin Courtney Sweet along the sideline with Long Beach State head coach Dan Munson.
Coach, you kept preaching to your team in the first half. You wanted them to contain ball off the bounce, keep the ball in front of him. You've held Cal Poly to 29% from the field. What did you see that you liked from your team?
Well, as a coach, you never like everything. I thought we were a little flat coming off an emotional win on Thursday, especially on the defensive end. And they're very dangerous. They really spread you out and can score. So we've got to stay on point down here. I did think we took care of the ball, and I thought we got it inside good. We just got to be stronger. You know, we didn't get a lot of calls, and we let that affect us. We got frustrated down there when we got the ball inside, and so we got to kick it out some and just take what they give us.
All right, well, good luck, Coach. Thank you so much. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Courtney. And so Long Beach State going to the halftime locker room with that 9-point lead. When we come back, we will talk about the Big West Award winners for 2019. Long Beach State a 9-point lead at halftime here at the Walter Pyramid. When we come back, we'll analyze some of the candidates for the 2019 Big West Awards, plus first half stats and highlights when we return. And welcome back to the Pyramid in Long Beach. It's Long Beach State with that 9-point lead over Cal Poly at the break. And Tim Beckler alongside the coach, Dave Miller, here courtside. All right, Coach, it's that time of year.
The Oscars?
Well, almost. It's almost tournament time, everybody, but also the discussion goes to the Big West Awards. So let's take a peek. And first of all, Coach, we're going to analyze Player of the Year. Who's your front runner?
Well, my front runner is easy. He's one of the most dynamic guards in the Big West. He can score at all three levels, but he's also capable of making plays for others. My player of the year is going to be Kyle Allman. He's athletic. He's lethal in the open floor. I like that he's become a two-way player, and if he wants to get to the next level, he's got to be a facilitator that can score. That's what he's shown me thus far.
And Lamine Janae having a fine season at CSUN as well. Deshaun Booker having a fine season here at Long Beach State. Now the defensive player of the year. And who is your favorite at this point, Coach?
Well, I've got to think about who's the best defensive team in the conference, and that would be Cal State Irvine. When you think about Irvine, it's got to be Jonathan Galloway. He relishes his role as their defensive anchor. He's their defensive coordinator on the floor. He gets just as happy when a teammate makes a play than he does. And when you're 13-1 in conference play, your defense has to be good, because defense and rebounding wins, he's definitely my pillar in the paint.
And a great group of coaches here in the Big West Conference. Who's the one you're picking?
Well, I could easily make a case for all three, but I'm going with Russ Turner. from Irvine. He was picked to win the league, so you say, well, that's not hard. That's extremely hard to do because you have a target on your back. Listen, he could finish this regular season 14-2 or 15-1, and that's outstanding. He's extremely demanding. He holds players accountable, but there's a method to his madness. I like the way his team plays. They are a reflection of his personality, and he, too, is still a pit bull in the paint.
And we'll see how it turns out when we find out who the winners are in a week and a half. First half stats and highlights when we return for the Pyramid. Long Beach State trying to make it 4 wins in a row as we enter the month of March as the regular season winding down to the Big West Conference. And welcome back, everyone. Tim Backwar with the coach, Dave Miller. All right, Coach, you look at that first half. Long Beach State knocking down shots. Cal Poly struggling mightily in that department.
Well, it's simple. The biggest adjustment for Cal Poly, they've got to make shots. They're 9 for 31. I wasn't a math major, but that's 29%. If you're Long Beach, you got to get points in the fast break situations. They only have 2 fast break points, but the good news is they have 22 points in the paint. They're 23 away from the 45 I predicted that they should get tonight.
And let's take a look at those first half highlights from this one of the Walter Pyramid. As it was Marcellus Garrick helping Cal Poly stay in it early.
Well, he's got a team-high 12 points. He's 3 for 9 from the field. But Cobb also got points in the paint. Then when you look at Youssef, he's a bull in a china shop. Booker, it's simple. Wash, rinse, and repeat. You've got to wall him off. You can't let him get inside. Riggins with the nice catch. Perfect timing on the shot. And then big-to-big pass, dive, finish, and that's how you get your points in the lane.
Cal Poly's season is probably on the line in this one. Can they make the comeback in the second half? We'll find out. Long Beach State possibly could vault 3 spots up the Big West standings with a win here tonight. Cal Poly desperately needs a victory to keep their hopes alive in the chase for the final Big West tournament berth.
Well, if you're Cal Poly, then you got to start making shots. We got to hear a lot of net noise. If you're Long Beach State, continue to push the pace.
The Mustangs fortunate to be only down by 9. Here is Garrick, who has been a major source of offense for them, as Crow cannot get it to go. And DeRosa, surrounded by a triple team, turns it over. Riggins filling the lane. Good defense there, though, by the Mustangs at the rim. And right now, let's send it over to Courtney Sweet, who had a chance to catch up with Cal Poly head coach Joe Calero.
Coach, with your team down 9, but the way that you're capable of shooting the 3, how do you get your team going from behind the arc?
Well, everybody wants to be able to make some threes. If we got hot and made 2 or 3 threes in a row, that would help us a lot. But the real difference in the game right now is they're getting inside scoring. Their bigs are big and strong, physical. They're outscored us 18-10 in the paint with a post play. And our 10 points is from driving. We just got to get some production. Our post players got to get the ball a little bit. We got to capitalize a little bit. Just got to control that tempo a little bit more.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Courtney. And yeah, it's been a constant struggle all season long for Cal Poly, trying to find inside offense.
Deshaun Booker's not having a problem finding inside offense. I mean, he gets into the lane. He uses his length, 6'3", 170 senior. Really played good junior college basketball. Played at College of Southern Idaho, from Las Vegas, Nevada. Very experienced resume.
And a blocking foul coming up against Mason Riggins.
Long Beach foul is on 5. Mason Riggins, that's his second. It's the second team foul on the beach.
So Riggins picking up the personal right there, telling the official, come on now. Garrick trying to split a double team here. DeRosa offensive rebound. Crow having a tough night from the outside. And a foul down low. So Cal Poly with multiple opportunities right now on this possession.
But it fits to the theme. He's had a bunch of open looks. You know, Crow's got to be able to go up and, you know, you can coach all you want. But if you don't have guys make shots, it's going to be for a tough evening.
And Crow shooting the ball very well this year. 45% from the floor, 43% for three-point range. That's 23rd in the NCAA to start the week.
Good player.
But off balance there.
Yeah, the drive, he's going away from the bucket. You want to go towards the bucket.
Too strong from Alberts, but Riggins a timely rebound.
And then when you struggle on the other end, you can't give offensive rebounds.
And Booker continues to be a pain in Cal Poly's side.
I thought you were going to say a pain in the lane.
Or yes. Fields with the right hand.
Well, he's been the one bright spot. You know, he's the guy that, you know, he can get going. They need to get him heated up rather quick.
Booker the step back, feeling it right now.
But he gets into a flow, you get into a rhythm, it starts to become easy. Now, can he take that efficiency on the offensive end and get this defense geared up?
Garrick strong drive, but there is DeRosa to pick it up for the putback basket.
That was the first time I've seen Cal Poly, if we can see it again, with the baseline drive, which means the guards is taking the ball to the baseline. It was a baseline drive. It was a baseline drip. Cal Poly's going to have to hit shots to close this gap.
Long Beach State growing this lead after halftime. It's back to a double-digit advantage for the 49ers here on their home floor as they try to make it 4 wins in a row. Well, Dan Munson trying for his 198th victory here at the beach, and he is amongst the elite in Big West history.
Boy, he certainly is. He's taken 3 programs to the NCAA tournament, Gonzaga to the Elite 8, Minnesota, and Long Beach State. He's been a head coach for over 3 decades, which is amazing. In his tenure here with the 49ers, a 3-time Coach of the Year in the Big West, 4 times he's made the NCAA. And again, he can X and O, and he comes from great DNA. His father was a great head coach. But I like that he gets relationships. I talked about how he likes this group he's coaching. He cares about his players. And I like his staff. You know, we talked about Bobby Braswell, the addition, Mike Scholl, Senku Carey, Jason Levy, a really good group of coaches that prepare these guys not only on the floor, but for life after basketball.
Yeah, Dan Munson, you know, he doesn't get the credit for what he did at Gonzaga, taking over for Dan Fitzgerald initially, and really building up Gonzaga on that great run to the Elite 8 with Casey Calvary and the like, and then moving on to Minnesota. I mean, he did set the table for Mark Few. Give all the credit to Mark Few as well. He did such a great job bringing Gonzaga now to the program that they are, #1 of the nation to start the week. But Dan Munson had a big, big part in developing that program. And then going to Minnesota, where he had to take over a program that was in disarray after the scandal, and a very tough job to take over, especially in that conference in the Big Ten.
He's about consistency and really a high-level teacher if you ever get a chance to watch his practices.
Donovan Fields knocking it down. And for more on Dan Munson, let's rejoin Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, I totally agree with you. Being around Coach Munson and this team, you can tell he really enjoys his players being around them. Even when they were going through that tough stretch, he said he never doubted their team effort, their want, their attitude towards winning. And one of the funny things they would do, he's like, you know, we just wanted the guys to get a win, so they pulled out the old wiffle ball bats, and they would play wiffle ball with the guys so they could hopefully get a win against, in his word, the old coaches, not mine. But, you know, just fun things like that. I know before they played Davis, they put all the chairs in the key. They watched the big screen, you know, just doing a lot of team building activities. But wiffle ball, I've never heard that before, guys.
Everybody loves wiffle ball. Absolutely. One of the great games out there. And, yeah, Dan Munson, again, he just takes a unique approach to things, and it is very effective.
Guys like to play for him.
Yep. Fields, he's going to have to dominate the ball in this second half, Coach, if Cal Poly's going to get back.
Boy, he did, and the key to that drive was Garoza. We were able to seal his man off. Fields got downhill, and it was a direct line drive.
Yeah, we said it the other night, and no pun intended, but Cal Poly is going to have to ride that horse in Donovan Fields.
I heard you say that. I wanted to send you a text. I thought that was pretty clever watching you on ESPN app.
Booker from way outside. Cal Poly gets the stop they need.
A tough shot by Booker, even though there was 6 seconds on the shot clock. Just a difficult shot.
And that one knocked away by Cobb. Cal Poly showing a little sign of life at this point, trying to hang in with their season probably on the line. Beach State with a 7-point lead on Cal Poly, and the catalyst has been Deshaun Booker tonight.
Well, I love his length and his craftiness inside, his ability to get into the paint, the little pump fake, and he's able to use his 6'3" length, and he's just crafty. He's got a way to get into the lane. He's the leading scorer on this team. He's the assist leader. He shoots over 90% from the free throw line. There's nothing that this cat can't do on the floor.
Yeah, the versatility in his game has really translated to a highly effective season, no doubt about it, on the offensive end. 17 points tonight so far for the native of Las Vegas.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment as well. You mentioned it earlier, Tim. I believe he leads the nation in made free throws. I mean, that tells me that you've got an aggressive nature, yet he also has to be able to set the table and keep everybody happy offensively.
Garrick with a step down the lane, and he missed an easy one, but he will get bailed out by the foul call here. And a chance for 2 free throws. And to continue our conversation, Deshaun Booker, we'll send it back over to Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, so this afternoon I was talking with some people from Long Beach, and I was like, okay, I just got to ask, what is the secret to Deshaun Booker and his free throw percentage and his shooting? And they said this summer that he really took on the mentality that as a point guard, he was going to get to the line, and his free throw shooting was something that he decided he needed to be better at. Last year, he got to the line 106 times. This year, he has doubled it. So one of the things he did to improve is he would come out and do spot shooting from behind the arc. He would do 7 spots on the floor from behind the three-point line, and in between each shot, he would go to the free throw line and shoot 10 free throws. And I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things about this story is the coaching staff didn't bring it up to him. He decided that, which I love, because Coach, isn't that what you want out of your point guard, a self-motivated leader?
Absolutely, because Courtney, he's an extension of your staff on the floor, and then you hope it's contagious. He starts to come, someone else comes with them. Grab 1 or 2 guys, grab a freshman. That's how you have a healthy culture, Tim.
Yeah, he sets the tone for the rest of his teammates. He sets the example that they must follow. Majuni.
I was waiting for Majuni to hit a shot just so you could say it so exquisitely. He's a scoring point guard that also plays the 2. He's an international guy with a lot of experience. I get a kick out of him.
But Crow answers right back with a big 3, and it's only a 5-point game.
Well, Crow's no slouch. You better be there on the catch. First of all, you should limit his touches, but then you got to make him put it on the floor and cushion his drive.
Majuni able to draw contact on Garrick from behind right there. Crafty play to earn a trip to the foul line, and Majuni a very good free throw shooter as well.
Well, he's excellent. He's also a very good three-point shooter at 42%, but where Majuni had struggled early on being here is that he had to adjust to the quickness of the college game. You know, in international basketball, there's a physicality, but when you're a guard, and again, he's a point guard that they have played the 2, that's been something he's had to adjust to. But like I said, I get a kick out of him because he's always in the gym when we show up early, and he's working on his game. He wants to be a good player. I mean, he's really, I wouldn't call him a super soft, but he has a chance next year as a junior to really make an impact for Munson.
Second on this team in free throw percentage at 86%. You know, last year, he went 31 of 33 at the line to lead Long Beach State in that category at almost 94%. So, Coach, he's having a down year at the foul line.
Zone action right here by Long Beach State. You know what I like about the defense, we talked about how they want to pressure and in their man-to-man, more deny and get into you, but they have the personnel to be disruptive, whether you're in man or zone, and they really have a full tool chest. They can go man-to-man. We've seen 3-2. They'll play a 1-3-1, a 2-3. This is a well-coached defensive team.
And Carr off balance there. So every time that Cal Poly has gotten within range, Long Beach State has had the answer. And Booker off the dribble right here, draws contact from Carr.
Well, it's like a boxing match. You get hit in the mouth. What are you going to do? Are you going to backpedal, or are you going to come back strong and try and hit even harder? That's what we've seen Long Beach State do. This has been a game of runs. Now, don't get me wrong. We've seen it of what, a 9-point lead going into half. I thought Long Beach State came out with a little bit more energy, and that's what I'm seeing thus far.
And Booker trying to utilize that size advantage against Fields. Able to draw the foul on Fields. That's his 3rd personal foul. So Dan Munson, smart maneuver.
Yeah.
Utilize that size advantage against the smaller defender in Fields and go right at him.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a mouse in the house.
Yep.
If Book's got him on it, he better take that shot. But right now, with that foul and Fields out, this really hurts their team offensively when they get down on the other end.
And that will hurt even more as Booker with the turnaround that goes down. 19 points for Deshaun Booker to lead all scorers in this game. And again, the Beach has answered that lead, growing back to 9.
The zone trying to shadow the perimeter shooters, and Cal Poly not trying to get the basketball inside.
Alexander in a crowd. Beautiful move right there.
Why does that always happen when I say they don't do something and then, you know what, roll the dice, it's going to happen. I should probably second guess them a couple more times. Joe would be happy. That was great play to get the basketball inside and a finish.
A nice job there by Nicola.
I like the physicality that the 6'10" freshman showed.
So Nicola with a flagrant foul in the second half of that loss at Fullerton on Thursday that proved to be very costly for Cal Poly in that loss.
What did he do?
And just excessive contact on a play down low.
Oh,
the
was
officials
it
made the ruling
after the play
on.
inside and
Yep.
he hit him, pushed him going into the baseline. I did see
And
that.
it gave Fullerton a couple extra free throws on that sequence and really allowed Fullerton to gain the momentum down the stretch. Yusuf trying to rediscover his offense. A series of moves inside, and the freshman is called for the foul.
Well, Yusuf saw the matchup. His eyes were just, he didn't yell for the ball, but you could see his eyes wanting the ball. I like the way Tuca tried to absorb it with the physicality, but again, that's a Mack truck. You know, he's not 6'9", but he's the Big West version of Karl Malone coming in there with the basketball. Credit the freshman for trying to do his job, but that's just a sophomore up against one of the best low post presence in Timmy.
You made the point earlier, Coach, just the way he looks out there on the floor, the body type is similar to Elton Brand.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I watch him play, I think I mentioned he'll get a double-double, he'll rebound, he can face you up, he's really worked on that. I think he's got great hands, and when you put him back to the basket, he really is one of the few guys for the past couple of years that demands a double. That's how you tell if you've got a good post player. Do other teams double? If not, they just go one-on-one coverage.
Garrick around and off, no good.
This is what I like. Booker with the ball coming down the tunnel. Space it, move it, dribble drive, looking for high percentage shots.
Majuni freed up. Off the dribble, Garrick into traffic and a tie-up situation. It's going to go the other way. Long Beach State remains in control in this second half. The Beach with a 9-point advantage here in the second half, aiming for their 4th victory in a row. And there is Deshaun Booker, and a historic season for that young man, as he has risen to the top of the charts for Big West single season free throws made with some of the greats.
Well, I'll tell you, you look at that, that's the who's who in the Big West. Leon Wood, that's a soft spot in my heart. He played for the late, great George McCorn, that was an assistant at Vegas, was a former head coach at Cal State Fullerton. And now, you know, Leon Wood, he's in the NBA. But I'll tell you what, watching him play, he had such great form. I call it the gooseneck and the follow-through. But I'm not a big fan of his. He once almost gave me a technical in the NBA. And you know, Tim, in college, they're free. In the NBA, they're $1,500. So actually, I should like Leon, because he was ready to tee me up. He missed a call, and he thought, I'm going to save Dave a bunch of money.
Oh, yeah, they get you in the pocketbook with those.
Now, all those calls, I just say, next play. That's where I got the next play. It was cheaper in the wallet.
So Long Beach State in this game, shooting 47%. Cal Poly, 32%.
It's got better. They were 29% at the half.
And Yusuf starting to develop a rhythm offensively in the second half, and almost taken back again by Roberts.
Yeah, bad news for Cal Poly. They continue to get points in the paint.
Open look there, and Crow just not getting anything to go down, as Crow from the outside is 1 for 9 tonight. Booker thought he should have gotten a foul call. Yusuf takes it away, and will have a chance for a three-point play here.
Just a heads-up play. Whether there was a foul or not, Long Beach State doesn't give up on the play, and that's what you get from a senior. Just in the paint, picks up the ball, right time, right place with the finish. Again, I like the drive by Book. Was there contact? Probably so. But again, what I didn't like about Carr, he brought the basketball down. It was nudged out, and Yusuf just like a bull in a china shop. I mean, there's a physicality. When you hit him, you're going to feel it the next day.
So the foul was on Carr, and the freshman now with 4 personals.
I'll tell you, I like Daxton Carr, 6'7" freshman. Watching tape the other day, you know, active, has lots of energy, really has good length. And the one thing I was impressed with is that tonight he hadn't had many rebounds, but he tries to go for rebounds. And again, as he gets bigger and stronger and he molds that body, he's going to be a good player for Joe in the upcoming years.
In and out for Yusuf. With the Beach with a 13-point lead. And this matches their largest lead of the night. As Fields lost it, playing with those 3 fouls. Crow somehow saves it. Great play by Crow. Garrick with an open look. And a foul here. And we're going to stay on this side of the floor.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to call that. There was just a lot of contact. I think he's going to call it on Demetrius Mims, the freshman from Maryland.
But Coach, Cal Poly now 3 of 20 from outside the arc.
Like I told you, when they're winning games, they're dropping 13. When they're losing games, they're around 5.7, 3-point mates.
Mustangs had a golden opportunity tonight to tie up UC Riverside in the Big West standings for that 8th spot. After Riverside fell to UC Irvine big earlier this afternoon. But the Mustangs offense has run dry so far.
Good job by Mahoney.
Crow right down the lane. Wow, extending and throwing it down.
What unbelievable athleticism. We talked about him being an offensive rebounder. Perfect timing, great finish.
Booker with the left hand, a nifty move right there.
But see, that play on the offensive end down there should have energized you. And again, just Alberts with the steal and an easy bucket. Just not focused, not being on the same page.
So Alberts with the easy 2 there.
That dunk by Crow should have energized your defense to give you a chance to make multiple stops.
So the Beach with its biggest lead at 15. And a foul here on the drive. It looks like Majuni will be called for the personal.
Well, that's when you want to keep him in front, level him off. Now you've got him going to the free throw line with 1 and 1.
So Cal Poly will shoot in the bonus. Both teams with 17 fouls in this second half.
Timeout taken by Cal Poly, a full timeout.
And so Joe Calero is going to take a timeout here and try to regroup with his team down 15.
Well, what he's got to do is they've got to stick to the script. They're not going to change their offense. But right here, penetrate. And that's the athleticism that we want to see Crow and anybody else in a green jersey come down the lane. Don't settle. You've got to put pressure on this defense. But again, there's no 15-point play. They've got to continue to dribble. Well, first of all, they've got to push it for easy basket. Try and put some pressure on the 49er defense. But if you're Dan Munson right now, you might want to stick in that zone. They're doing a good job of shading the perimeter shooters because if they're not making threes, they are really struggling to score. We've seen far too dribble drives in the paint. That's been the difference of the game. Long Beach State has made a living with paint points, and they've been scarce for the Mustangs.
So Cal Poly with Fields back in the game, playing with those 3 fouls. But you've got to go for broke right now if you're Donovan Fields.
Yeah, that's a non-factor, Tim. I mean, forget, you know what? If he fouls out, he fouls out. I don't think he will because he's a senior. But who else do you have on the bench? When you take him out, now you're going to put the ball in the hands of Job, who's a driver. So now you don't have 2 eyeballs. You have 6 or 8 eyeballs because they're going to load up on him knowing that he's going to bring it to him. But they need those athletic energy plays. Hey, credit this team. They've been down the whole game. They're 6-20. This team doesn't quit, which means they have a buy-in to the coaching staff and they have a buy-in amongst the guys on the floor. 5 guys out there, they're getting their butts beat at times, but they stick together.
So Cal Poly struggled at the foul line on Thursday at Fullerton, but tonight it has been a turnaround in that department. It's really been the shining star of their offense so far, as they've only missed 1 free throw here this evening.
Well, that's what's kept it respectable.
So Garrett gets them both. And if Cal Poly wants to get back in this game, they better start now.
Yeah, they're going to throw a little 2-3 zone right here, match up a little bit. But I'd like to see more pressure. If you're a defender, get your hands up. There you go. Take away the vision in the airspace and stay down.
As Booker tried to step around Alexander there, and a foul on the floor. Terrific job inside by Mims amongst a crowd of Mustangs to pull down that rebound.
What a winning play. I mean, a good shot. It misses out, and I talked about it earlier. I said he may be the best athlete. I'm starting to think he is the best athlete on the team. I mean, he was able to go, collect himself, get a hand on the ball, and his hustle and his toughness rewards him with free throws.
The foul on Hollingsworth, who picks up his second. 1-and-1 situation. And so Mims cannot convert. Mustangs down 13.
Nice roll and replace action.
Fields. And he did not draw iron right there. Mims, too easy the other way. Count it. He'll get 1 at the line.
Promising future.
Scored the basket by Demetrius Mims. The Cal Poly fouls on 5. Mark Crow, that's his 3rd.
So Crow picks up his 3rd. And just when you think Cal Poly is starting to gain some momentum, plays like that, and they just leave Joe Calero speechless along the Cal Poly sidelines.
Well, we know it's proven. You've got to defend and you've got to rebound to win. But at the end of the day, in this day and age, with these kids that come to college, and in particular the Big West, they score too easy. So you've got to be able to make shots. Good screen on the top of the zone to free up Fields. He's just struggling right now in the second half, making shots.
Riggins ahead of the pack for the 2-hand rip.
That just kills you. I mean, you can struggle shooting, but that's a skill. You can't struggle getting back.
And a terrific lead pass ahead by Booker to set up Riggins. Garrick and rattles it home. One of the 4 threes put down by Cal Poly tonight, but it has not been enough.
Well, he's taken the most threes on the team, and from a defending standpoint, when he has to put it on the floor, his numbers go down drastically.
Riggins fumbled it going up, fouled. He will get free throws coming up when we return. The Beach trying to put the finishing touches on this one and earn their 4th victory in a row. The lead growing to 15 in the second half for Long Beach State. Looking to put this one away on their home floor here at the Walter Pyramid. And we take a look now at our 2 leaders offensively tonight. And Donovan Fields for Cal Poly, Deshaun Booker for Long Beach State. And we look at their numbers, and it's been an impressive evening so far as Deshaun Booker coming away with 21 points so far, 16 for Donovan Fields.
Well, Booker hasn't hit a 3, but that hasn't stopped him. He's 9 for 17 from the field. He hasn't missed a free throw, and I'll tell you what I like. He's got 8 rebounds, Tim, and 4 assists.
Yeah, so solid all-around numbers. Yet again, showing that versatility. So 2 free throws here for Riggins following the foul against Hollingsworth prior to the timeout.
You know, the more I've been watching Riggins, he reminds me of a shorter, poor man's version of Tyson Chandler. You know, he just, in the screen and rolls, he rolls hard, he can finish inside, he makes extra effort plays, he tries to get on the offensive glass. I'm going to talk to him and think if he thinks he's TC.
He now has 12 points on the night, 6 rebounds, and he's a perfect 4 of 4 from the foul line. He came in shooting just 36% from the line this year. Nice step back and pretty teardrop put down by Donovan Fields.
Well, he's certainly capable of doing that. He had 16 before that. He adds to it. Very skilled offensively and score in so many areas.
18 for Fields tonight. And Booker fouled again.
He's such a handful, Tim, in terms of his length and his ability to put the basketball on the floor. He's just easy. He glides, and his handles have really tightened up this year. Again, trying to become that complete player, a true point guard. You can tell that all his individual work that Courtney Sweet talked about has really paid dividends for him.
So on the night, Booker with 22 points, 4 of 4 from the foul line. So now 226 makes at the foul line on the year.
How many has he made tonight?
So tonight just 4.
So 4. So that's 34 in a row. This would be his 35th.
And there it is.
Did you know that 2 regulation basketballs can fit to the rim at one time? That's what I always teach shooters that I work with. Just get it up and get it over.
Yeah, that mental imagery to help improve those percentages. And Booker almost took it away. Wild scramble for it. Pinballed, and it's remaining with Cal Poly.
Well, this is what Munson's been telling him all year. You've got to be bothersome on defense. And that was bothersome. Live feet, active hands. They didn't get the ball, but it's better than just standing there, right, and letting somebody drive by you. He's making an effort to not be passive on the defensive end. Play as hard as you do on the offensive end. It's boded well for him this season, thus.
Fields again. Wow, what a crafty move again with the right hand.
Is he jet quick or lightning quick? You tell me.
I'll tell you, Coach, I love watching these kind of point guards. Fields and TJ Shorts just make it so enjoyable.
I'll tell you, they're two good comparisons when you look at the headbands. It's just that Fields is shorter, and he might have a little bit better of a jumper, but the way they get to spaces on the floor, they're both jet quick, lightning quick, good guards in the Big West.
Fields in traffic, runs it down himself. And gets it with the right hand, and Joe Calero calls a timeout. He wanted a foul inside, but no call was made. And let's send it back over to Courtney Sweet.
Well, guys, I love that you guys are talking about these point guards like TJ Shorts. Donovan Fields, he is the 24th player in program history to score 1,000 career points. And after he accomplished that in January, he said it was an amazing feeling because he always wanted to play Division I basketball since he was a kid, and he sacrificed a lot for it. Now, being undersized at 5 feet 10 inches, that's what the roster says. He says he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He gets off extra shots by himself every day after practice. He's got an individual workout that he does. He said, look, I've always been the shortest on my team, and so being the shortest guy, I've got to play a little harder and make fewer mistakes. Guys, he's playing with those 3 fouls tonight, so he's going to have to make fewer mistakes to stay in the game. And in that last huddle, he's listening to his coach because coach told him and the whole team he wants them to either shoot the 3 or get to the rack. Don't settle for that mid-range game. And as we can see with Fields, he is taking that advice and he is driving to the lane.
Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, coming all the way from Newburgh, New York, and what a legacy he leaves behind at Cal Poly when he finishes his senior season coming up here.
I lived in Newburgh, New York when I coached at West Point. And then he went to Odessa Junior College, one of the top junior colleges. But I like the way Joe Calero's getting a little analytical. He wasn't that way when we coached together. He wants a 3. He wants a layup. He can coach with Mike D'Antoni on his staff. Take away those tough 2s.
And Booker back in a familiar spot. You know, following the Cal Poly foul, this time it's going to go against Jared Rice's second.
The defense just hasn't been up to par. I mean, Long Beach State points in the paint, they're shooting 51%. And even though Cal Poly is shooting 35% right now for the game, that's still not much more than, and don't get me wrong, you're happy. It's better than the 29% at the half, but they just haven't been able to get going and see the ball go through the net.
And again, it's back up to a 17-point lead. Long Beach State is led by as many as 18 tonight in this second half.
37 free throws in a row for Booker.
So he continues to add to that Big West single-season record for free throws made. And another turnover. And
it's a silly turnover. You got to jump to shoot, not to pass. He should have took that shot.
Yusuf from the baseline. As Garrick led with that shoulder, and that's an easy offensive foul call against Marcellus.
He surely did get that head of steam. He thought this was a time that we're going to get an easy transition break, and you called it right on, partner. He just lowered that shoulder. Easy call for the Zebras. He's going, boom, he pushes him off, and you know what? To Drew Cobb to take that force, we talked about his NFL body and his warrior attitude. That was a semi coming at you. Man-to-man defense, a little 2-man game right here with Book and Roberts.
And again, contact, and again, Cal Poly sending Booker to the foul line.
Yeah, I liked it. Booker had an option. He could have come back with the rescreen. He saw that the defense was high side, and he was able to, and again, this is tough to do because Book's got good length. He got lower than the defender, and that's what created the space and the contact to draw the foul.
So Booker now with 26 here tonight to lead everybody. As Fields with 22 for Cal Poly. Mustangs also getting 19 points so far from Marcellus Garrick, and 11 points coming from Mark Crow, but it has just not been enough. Long Beach State, led by Booker, and their depth and their length defensively, really has dominated this evening as Garrick draws contact and a foul.
Well, we talked about him. I think he's one of the better three-point shooters in the league, but he certainly understands how to use the shot fake. And right now, you can get him up in the air, and Joe doesn't want that tough too, but maybe you get to the free throw line, you stop the clock, and again, you're down 78 to 59, but you get to chip away with time not diminishing.
Well, this is the biggest lead of the night for Long Beach State at 19, and Garrick will earn another one. But Garrick a senior, Fields a senior. Also Kubanizio, who has not played tonight, is a senior. But the rest of the squad coming back next year. But again, such a huge loss in losing Donovan Fields to graduation.
He's just the heart, and he's the pulse of your ball club.
And here he is again. He's got numbers. Lobs it up and a bit too far for Garrick. Crossover here as Booker tried to wrap it around. Yusuf just going to use that superior bulk. Bit too strong there, and it'll go back to Cal Poly.
Like the strength, love the bulk, really don't like the position. Too far underneath the basket. You know, and again, don't hunt it. I like it, you're in there. What do we say? When you're in the paint, score, but don't hunt it and take a bad shot.
Nice feed. Fields inside to Yakola.
Penetration does the offense good. Penetrate, draw, kick.
Yakola out of Helsinki, Finland.
First time we've seen a double team off that defense by Cal Poly.
So under 10 on the shot clock here. And Yusuf finds a wide open Roberts after the defender fell down.
There just hasn't been much resistance on that end. Long Beach State is moving the ball. They're getting it to wherever they want, preferably inside. That's where they've had the huge advantage tonight.
Fields trying to split a double team, and a foul is called. Well, Long Beach State in comfortable control on their way to 4 wins in a row. Long Beach State pulling away in the second half here at the Walter Pyramid, up by 17 over Cal Poly as the 49ers now red hot down the stretch of the Big West regular season. Okay, so at right this second, this is how the Big West tournament brackets would look.
I'll tell you, Tim, if you look at the 1 and the 8, Riverside can hang for a while due to their size and ability to defend, but Irvine's guards will make the difference. when you look at the 4-5, Davis is like an old school 90s team. The sum is greater than the parts. I love their pattern of play. And then for Hawaii, it's always been about the blend this year. Their new guys and their young guys can step-toe and bug handle the Davis defense. When you look at Santa Barbara and the Matadors, that game would be a shooter's paradise. Heidegger, Janae, and Gomez, it'll be the supporting cast and who defends better to win this game. And then lastly, Cal State, Fullerton, and Long Beach State, that's a rivalry game. So who knows how healthy is USF? Do the 49ers shooters get hot? And to me, Owishika is the key defensively for Fullerton.
Hope you can join us at the Honda Center for what should be a phenomenal weekend of exciting college basketball, starting on Thursday, March 14th with the quarterfinals, 4 games that day, 2 games of the semifinals on Friday night, and then the big championship game on Saturday night in Anaheim. Fields now with 24 points for the Mustangs, coming off that 22-point performance Thursday at Cal State Fullerton. One of the only bright spots tonight for Cal Poly offensively. Fields will try it and knock it down. So 5 quick points.
Love that. That's what Jobe Alexander does. He's a driver. He got into the lane. He drew the defense, and it was a nice kickback for the 3.
So we have a score update, and UC Davis defeats Cal State Fullerton tonight by 7.
At Davis.
In Northern California. So Long Beach State now, as they will have to see what happens with CSUN tonight in Hawaii. And so you look at it, and UC Davis now goes to 7-7 in conference play. Long Beach State will go to 7-8. So if CSUN loses at Hawaii, then Long Beach State would jump over CSUN into the 6th position.
Well, I've got some more bad news for you for talking about games today. The Cal Poly women, they lost today. Santa Barbara women won. So Cal Poly has now been eliminated from the Big West women's basketball tournament.
Yeah, the Big West women's tournament. And we will have all the action for you for that, as well as the men's tournament.
How much fun is that?
Oh, yeah.
You get everybody down there, you get them in the arena, and just great players, great fans, great coaching.
Exciting days, lots of drama on both the men's and women's side. We hope he can make it out this year. And Booker trying to slice through the defense. Almost had a chance for a 3-point play.
Had a little bit too much sizzle. But again, love the length, love the push game. That's how I envision this team playing. Again, we talked about their improvement and their consistency defensively. The better they are defensively, the easier it is to get out and get down the floor. And when you have Deshaun Booker with that size and his craftiness, he can either get to the rim or he can direct and organize.
Long Beach State, the only team so far in the Big West regular season to beat UC Irvine.
Well, that tells you how dangerous they are, because no one's been able to beat Russ Turner and his anteaters. But this is a group, when they're connected and when they're on the same page and they play the way Munson wants them to play, they can beat anybody on any night, anywhere.
Irvine got him in the rematch here at the Pyramid on February 2nd. As it looks like it's going to stay with Cal Poly, but the officials will confer, and they're going to change the call and send it back to the 49ers. But going back to that matchup, February 2nd, as Fields, and it looked like he touched it last, Coach.
Well, it was interesting. Cobbs had his hand out. That's textbook defense. He wasn't perfectly squared, but if you're showing your hands, there's no way the ball could go off you unless your name is Houdini, because that would have been magical.
But Fields able to steal it right back, and Garrick with the left hand. So an 11-point game. Cal Poly going to that full court pressure defense now. Trying to force some turnovers and work their way back late.
No quitting these Mustangs. They continue to play hard for Joe Calera.
And they get another rebound. And they have numbers.
But you got to push. And if you're Job, you got to look to score.
Cameron with the right hand, and now it's a single-digit deficit.
Have you noticed it's almost like playing 4-on-5 because Job just hasn't been aggressive tonight.
And Dan Munson wants a timeout here, trying to slow everything down and get his team calmed down, out of sorts, after Cal Poly went to that full-court pressure.
Well, the pressure was to speed them up. What Munson's telling his team right now is, let's stick to the script and let's run what we've been able to run offensively. Let's look to get the ball into the paint. If you have a direct line drive, finish. If not, kick it out. But we don't want to take bad shots. Now, if you're the Mustangs, the energy has changed. What Coleros is going to tell his team is that defensively, we're not talking offense right now. Defensively, you have to get stopped. Then you've got to be able to push this basketball down the floor. Now, trust me, they didn't forget how to shoot the three. They just haven't shot it well. But if you're a true shooter like they have on their team, you think the next one is going in. So don't take bad shots, but take great shots.
So we'll see if it's too little, too late for the Mustangs, but making a big-time effort to try to make a game of it in the final 3 minutes of this one.
Tim, unless it says 0.00, it's never too late. And even if it were to be, you still want to continue this fight in your team. You're struggled. You're going to go to 6-21. You want to be able to play your next game with urgency.
Roberts was able to turn the corner at the baseline, but was fouled on the floor before he threw it down. Daxton Carr is just fouled out of the ball game for Cal Poly. But going back to Long Beach State and their matchups with UC Irvine, as they went to the Brent Center, January 16th, got an 80-70 win in a game that we did. And then February 2nd here at the Pyramid, UC Irvine had to get a late basket in the final seconds from Tommy Rutherford to win that game 82-80. So Long Beach has shown they can hang with the Anteaters and really put pressure on them, and it would be interesting to see if these teams possibly meet again in the Big West tournament.
Well, look at their length and their athleticism, and then you match up with the guard, you match up with Hazard, Leonard, and Worku. I mean, it's a custom-made matchup in terms of the guards. And I like Irvine's bigs, but listen, if Youssef is playing well, and with the emergence of Riggins, now you've got 5 players on the floor that it can go either other way. But I'll tell you what the key is going to be in that game, or if they were to meet up again, the physicality. That's whether it's on the perimeter, whether it's on inside.
Yeah, the Anteaters will force you to play their way.
Yeah. 10-point game now. You're not going to panic, but you need scores or get to the free throw line, because this is great. Shooting 2 shots right now, so every time there's a foul, it's just like having a field goal attempt.
Jordan Roberts picks up his 4th foul. Not what Dan Munson and his coaching staff wanted nor needed at this point. And you're right, Coach, that clock stops. And 2 free throws coming up for Alexander.
Could have been more perfect for Cal Poly.
But you got to convert.
Right.
Alexander just a 56% free throw shooter on the year.
Well, maybe that's why he doesn't like to shoot. But look at his body. He's strong. He's athletic. You know, I get it. He's a glue guy. He's not supposed to rise up and in. He knows what his role on this team is, but sometimes it's hard to play 5 against 4.
Costley misses there. Booker leading the country in free throw makes. They don't want to foul him. Riggins inside, but they give up the easy 2.
Great vision, and that's what happens when you have size as a point guard. Love Riggins. Catch it high, keep it high, finish high.
Garrick turned the corner on Booker there for his homeland.
Still a double-digit lead.
And a quick foul in the backcourt. So it looks like Cobb will go the other way for free throws. Cobb coming into the game 7 for 14 at the foul line this year.
Yeah, so the interesting point is if Joe Calero elects to go to the foul game to try and lengthen this game and put them to the free throw line, if you're Long Beach State, all you got to do is go up and knock them down. You're at the charity stripe. They call them free for a reason. Hit your free throws.
Good rotation right there. on that free throw attempt. And time running out on Cal Poly now. Again, the Mustangs return home to the Mott Athletic Center for 2 games next weekend. And I'll tell you, 2 very tough matchups that they have in front of them, with UC Irvine on Thursday night and then with UC Santa Barbara on Saturday. As Garrick will step back for 3.
Now you got to pick up right here immediately. Fouls him right away. Great coaching by Joe Calero. Did you see what I meant by, and again, I don't know if it's too late, right, and not enough time, but that's the offense we wanted to see. The downhill, the drives, the kick to shooters, and I'm telling you, when they're in rhythm and when they're making shots, that's why this season has been so frustrating for Joe and the players out there, because they have the pieces, they just haven't been able to put it together, and they're just too reliant on the long ball.
So Albert's Southern California native out of Northridge, and he went to Village Christian High School in Sun Valley up in the San Fernando Valley, and spent those years at Gonzaga. But this year a 75% free throw shooter, as he got the first one to go. And he gets them both. 65 seconds left for Cal Poly.
1 minute remaining.
Nicola able to throw it down. Now they desperately need a steal here, but Cobb freed up, and he will go to the other end for more free throws.
Tell you what I love, Donovan, and again, this is coaching and it's competitiveness. Donovan Fields was inside Booker's jersey. They are not going to let Booker get the ball, and again, this may not work out, but as a former coach, I look out there and I just see the little things. That's the little things you might not see. Everybody's watching the ball, but Fields and company are trying to keep that the ball out of Booker's hands, who's one of the best free throw shooters in the nation.
That was the 4th foul on Pro. So Cobb misses this one after making his previous 2.
Make or miss 55.9 seconds, you've got to go.
Cobb trying to get that lead for the Beach back to double digits here. And does. He gets 1 and 2 on this trip, and a timeout taken by Dan Munson and Long Beach State. So a 10-point game, just under 56 seconds to play in this one. And Cal Poly, well, if they want to get back in this game, they're going to have to rely on the 3-ball.
Well, they certainly are. And if you're Long Beach State, what Munson's telling them, Tim, in the timeout is, we can't foul. We've got to be there on the catch. And what Joe Calero is telling them, if they're there on the catch, don't take a bad shot. And again, you don't have a lot of time, but put the ball on the floor, 1 or 2 dribbles, try and defend something. I mean, there's too much time to concede and let them shoot a 2, all right? But you still have to understand that the 3 is what is going to get you there, because you're less than a minute left in this basketball game. But the 49ers, no open 3s, no fouls. They do not want to put them on the free throw line and stop the clock and let them get unguardable points.
You know, an interesting stat, Coach, in this game. Very quietly, Marcellus Garrick tonight leads all scorers with 30 points in this game.
Understands how to score and can really shoot the ball.
Crow will try it from deep.
Good defense by the 49ers.
And Booker fouled again in the backcourt. So it is a free throw parade going on in this one, as Cal Poly, with their hopes of a Big West tournament berth, slowly fading.
Well, it goes back to I talked to about with Calero and company in terms of the 2 overtime losses, right? And then with the exception of Irvine, who just came out and just smacked them in the face, which Irvine does to a lot of teams. You know, this is a team that they've been down all game. I think you said they were down 18, may have been the biggest margin, but yet they're still in this game fighting for their lives. That's what I like about the competitive nature, and I'll be repetitive. That shows you that this team hasn't given up, the coaching staff hasn't given up. You try and get better every possession that you're on the floor. Credit to Joe Calero for keeping the fiber and the togetherness together while they've had a struggling season.
And Booker gets that free throw to go. Well, the Cal Poly fan base, hey, they're going to need to be super loud in that building on Thursday and Saturday for their team to have a chance in those games.
And they're going to have to make threes.
Yes, a lot of them. And Alexander fouled inside by Mims.
Well, that's what I would be accustomed to seeing Job doing, being able to get inside, get to the hole, use his body, absorb the contact, and get to the charity stripe.
So Booker back in there after a short breather as Mims will go out. But the depth for this Long Beach State team is notable. And tonight, again, playing without K.J. Byers. He is a major contributor for this team. Hey, man, a nice tip back there by Crow.
Single digits.
Richard.
Keep the ball moving.
And Alberts is fouled by Crow. Just over 30 seconds to play in this one. The Long Beach State following this one tonight, as they will play Wednesday, so they will conclude their regular season schedule early compared to the rest of the conference on Wednesday night here at the Pyramid for senior night against UC Riverside. And then they will have a lot of time to get ready for the Big West Conference tournament.
Well, that's dangerous for the other teams, because with Munson, you give him time to prepare, they're going to probably break down a lot of film. Because, you know, you've got to play so many teams in so many days, and you're not sure right now because the conference hasn't ended. You're not going to guard, you're not going to practice for a specific team. You're going to guard actions. You're going to be able to really, you know, work on your pick and roll defense, work on your offensive execution. How do teams guard the pick and roll and just have a really good practice session, almost like a mini training camp.
Alexander through the lane and gets the bounce.
I talk about playing 4-on-5, and now Job wakes up.
And that's gonna do it for this one. Mims will just dribble out the clock here, and Long Beach State on its way, and now will gain its fourth victory in a row to go to 7-8 in the Big West Conference, 13-18 overall. Cal Poly falls to 2-12 in conference play, and now 6-21 on the year as Long Beach State able to win the season series head-to-head with Cal Poly.
Well, Tim, the defense for Long Beach State has definitely improved. Booker has turned into a complete player since the last time I saw him at the start of conference play. Cobb has been an X factor. This team has been up and down, but they've stayed connected. That's 4 in a row with a chance to win 5. With Cal Poly, they were definitely not able to play that Pink Floyd defense and keep the 49ers out of the defense. Fast break points, that was a problem too. For Long Beach State, it was all about pain in the lane. They were able to get the ball inside. That was the difference tonight.
And so Long Beach State now has a chance, if CSUN falls to Hawaii tonight, to move up one spot in the Big West standings to the 6th spot. And they could be very, very dangerous come Big West tournament time down at the Honda Center in Anaheim. And Deshaun Booker with a huge night for Long Beach State, and he joins our own Courtney Sweet.
All right, Deshaun, 4 in a row. What has been the difference for your team these last couple weeks?
It starts in practice. Our practice intensity has been night and day from the beginning of the season until now. So that's a big difference right there.
I'm sure Coach is going to love hearing that, taking practice seriously. All right, we were just talking about it. 43 free throws in a row. That last free throw, you made me a little nervous, but you got that shooter's roll. What is the key to your consistency from the charity stripe?
Focus. Just focus on the same routine every time and the same shot, and it'll go in.
It's definitely going in for you. 6 seniors on this squad. This is the second to last game at the Pyramid for you. What does this team, what does this group want to be remembered as?
We want to set the trend and start a new beach era and get back to winning ways.
So you have the potential to go into the tournament on a 5-game win streak. What does that do? How does that elevate your confidence heading into Honda Center?
I think it's the best thing for us because it's the longest streak we had all season, and it's coming at the right time. So I think it's pretty good, and you better look out for the tournament.
All right, guys, you heard it here. He called you out. Congratulations, Deshaun. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Courtney. Great work along the sidelines tonight. Well, Coach, Long Beach State looks like they're in prime form headed for the Big West tournament.
Well, they certainly have the ingredients. They have the personnel. Tonight, 46 points in the paint, one over what I requested and thought they needed to win. Booker has become that complete point guard. We talked about Cobb and his toughness. I like the emergence of Jordan Roberts. This is a team that has multiple weapons offensively, but their run in the Big West Conference tournament starts on the defensive end. If they can defend, they can produce easy offense, and they might be able to make a magical run.
49ers will look to make a splash in the Big West tournament in Anaheim in less than 2 weeks. Thanks again, Coach. Thanks again to Courtney. And for Dave and Courtney, I'm Tim Beckwar saying so long from the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California, on the campus of Long Beach State with the final score Long Beach State 94, Cal Poly 85. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night, everybody.